So I tell them hair doesn't fall out to leave them, right? It falls out to make room for healing. So again, it's like that lie detector. It's like, hey, something is going. I have to remove myself from here so that I can get you the attention for your healing process. So it's just a mindset though, because it turns to panic, right? Because you're like, oh my God, I'm losing this. But once you understand that it's not going to leave you, it's room for healing, then you become patient and then you go through the regrowth. And the regrowth is the evidence of responding. So it's not failing.
This ain't your average healing chat. It's healing through conversations with me, Loveli Brown. Real talk, deep healing, zero fluff.
Hey guys, this is Lovely with Lovely's team, and welcome back to the Healing Through Conversations podcast. Today, I am happy to have a conversation with my guest because we hit it off really well with the one-on-one. Like, we were talking for 45 minutes and had to be like, no, for real, it's time
All
to
right.
go eat and go to bed. Like, why are we still up doing this? And I feel like when you have conversations like that and you have a connection like that, you should cherish that. It's rare as an
Yes.
adult to find people who you absolutely not only want to boost, you want to connect with, you want to see them thrive, and we're in different places, but we're trying to still give the same message. So Miss
Exactly.
Johanna Amarante,
Amarante, you got it.
okay, who's a
Yay.
certified trichologist.
Trichologist, yep.
Okay, look at me trying to do something, and a licensed cosmetologist with a business called Fabulously Made Salon and Hair Loss Solutions. And what I loved when I first, we were introduced to each other through Entreprenista.
Yes.
We were in a kind of like meet and greet, not really a get to know, but like a meet and greet where you got to ask questions. And when Johanna started talking, I was like, oh my God, I have to know her. But it all happens so fast that you're trying to like get people's names and phone numbers,
Right.
and it's just moving too fast. But I loved how you just, yes, you are helping people in the cosmetology space, but you are a therapist on a different level. And
Yes.
that's what made me really just fall in love with what you're doing. So introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Yeah, definitely. First, I want to say that first meetup was like instant for me too, because I was like, I need to get to know Lovely. Like, it was just a perfect match. But I thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be here with you. My name is Johanna Amarante. I'm in the Tampa Bay area. My salon is Fabulously Made Salon and Hair Loss Solutions. I'm super happy to be here and open your minds up more about hair restoration and who's available to actually help and how deep diving to these things people really need to get to so we can get results.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So, what inspired you, one, to become a trichologist, and two, tell me your personal experience that really like propelled you to move forward in this field?
Yeah, definitely. So my journey into trichology kind of began in like a deep desire to know why people are experiencing hair loss. Like there's so many beautiful things, people with like the Kim Kardashians, all of that. But these are women who actually are going through hair loss and they don't know why or how it's happening. So as a cosmetologist, I love making people feel beautiful from the outside, but I saw the client's pain and them hiding behind their styles. So I wanted to get like a deeper dive to understand like the science, the body, the emotion behind the hair that's trying to tell us because our hair is almost like our lie detector. It's letting us know like, hey, something is happening. So trichology just kind of like build that bridge. And it's between cosmetology and dermatology. So it's kind of building that bridge, but it's the beauty, the wellness, and like purpose. Like our hair is our crown, and it's letting us know, it's communicating with us. And for me, like my personal experience, like I had a season where my body and spirit was both exhausted. So through that experiencing, like I realized that hair loss wasn't just a cosmetic issue. So people know people or memorize people by like, hey, did you see so and so with the really curly hair or dark hair, color hair, whatever it is that your hair identify you with, that's what it was. So when you're going through something and you're experiencing that, it's basically like I try to tell people like our body is calling for healing. So if you're going through hair loss, it's screaming like help me, I want you. So like I was like I need to study holistic health. I want to know why the functional imbalancing so that everything starts clicking together. But just because it's more of a reflection of who we are internally and emotionally as women. So that to me was like I need answers and I need to be able to help women, especially women of our necessity. Like they, Spanish, like brown, black, Spanish, like we are undereducated when it comes to our hair because we are perceived to look one way and the
Mhm.
information is not really either geared for us or there's so much misinformation. So I was like, I need to get right down to the nitty gritty about this. Yeah.
Look, let's give you your flowers right now because so many things. A, your hair is your lie detector. T-shirt,
Yes.
T T-shirt, girl, you better have it inside that salon right away. You know what? Because I think there's this unique approach that women of color have to our hair because we realize that so much of our history is built on us diminishing what we have. It's us
Right.
learning how to assimilate to more of a white culture, more straight hair, harsh products in order to get our hair to be like that, but not also not realizing the stress of bad diet, trauma, not being trauma informed, and not
Right.
knowing how your hair really is the inside out of you, right? Like it's what's happening on the inside will definitely show on the outside. I think most people
Definitely.
always assume like whenever you take a drug test and they say, well, they can tell by your hair if you were smoking drugs. I'm like, but if you can do that with your hair from smoking, think about everything else that
Well,
you can
even
take
like
in life.
DNA, like, they're pulling evidence for murder. Like our hair strand tells us a story about everything. So it's like so important to know how all of this is connected. And that was a perfect point that you put up because you're like, no, a hair strand tells a whole lot.
It tells so much. So transition from the inside out. How have you witnessed that through your clients in the journey of connecting with your clients?
Yeah, so my clients, I've had them and seen them through like tears and triumphs. We've go from like covering bald spots and hair thinnings to embracing like each beauty phase that they go through with the hair restoration. So what touches me the most is like the start glowing difference. Their posture starts changing, their eyes soften. They start to show up like in life again. Some of them was like, "Hey, honey, my honey and I, you know." Things got a little different. So that's beautiful. So like hair growth is kind of like that emotional rebirth. And it's I tell them as a reminder, like I get this question too, like, why did I come up with fabulously made? And I think that because our crown, our hair identify us, that fabulously made came to because I want to remind women that we were all made beautiful. We were all made fabulous from the higher above. And that was how like that connection. So that transition of like inside and out and the purpose of my business and my business name, I feel like it's just that reminder. When I see that reaction, I'm like, this is why I made fabulously made. It's just that reminder, like, no, honey, you may be going through this, but this is temporary because we're gonna find a solution and remind you who you are and remind you that you was made fabulous.
See, and this is why I talk about mental health. Like you are not only a hype coach, a confidence coach, an intimacy coach, because what I loved about our first conversation, we should have recorded the whole thing. It was
Right.
on
We had a whole
fire.
segment there.
It was so good. But what I loved about our first conversation, we were really talking about the how your medical history plays such a huge part in hair loss and
Yes.
how your body really tells it says so much like your body is a map, of course, but your hair
Right.
says so much about what's going on with you. If your hair is brittle, if it's falling out, if you're suffering from alopecia, there are multiple strands of alopecia. It's not just one kind of alopecia, it's
Right.
different kinds. And how you were talking about the history of hair and the history of health and how that looks with your clients. And I was like, can you tell us more about either the lack of vitamins, how trauma affects your hair, just more about what it looks like um, for long-term hair loss and care?
Yeah, definitely. So there's so much that is connected from internal deficiency. So like part of my beginning or introduction to someone is like I have a very thorough like intake form because I need to build a medical history. I need to know what your stresses are, how you're sleeping, what your scalp life is, have you been diagnosed with things, even down to your medication, because people don't realize that being on certain medication, it actually depletes you of natural vitamins and minerals that our body needs. And so they're
Mm,
taking this medication, but they're not taking anything of the supplementation they need that they're going to be depleted of. So those
mm,
things are like super important to educate people because people think hair restoration is just topical, and that's by far not true. Not at all. So like for me is like we need to know your traumas that you've been to. We need to know like your full thyroid panels because typically when you go to your doctors, they'll do a TSH or maybe a T3, but there's like four actual panels that pull a complete thyroid panel. Like we need to know this information.
mm.
So those things are super important. So like when I ask my clients when we have our like first conversation, like I need full thyroids. I need all your vitamins and minerals, ferritin, vitamin D, B12, A1Cs, diabetic, ANA is autoimmunity. We need to find that out. Plus your sex hormones, because no matter at what age you are, our hormones are going all over the place and it's factored through so many things. Just as simple as stress can alter our hormones. And a lot of people don't even know that. Um, and then it's one of those things that sometimes they don't get the full story of things. So I utilize tools like a bioscan. I don't know if you ever heard of it. So bioscan basically has biomarkers that will go through your full body system and lets us know what is depleted from the body. So we can
Mhm.
actually work and marry them two together just because it's been so much more helpful because we're not putting band-aid over things. We're trying to find the cause reasoning to the hair loss.
Which brings me to the point where you are, it's so interesting because you are working so connected with other clinicians. Like what you're
Right,
doing can help a person fully understand a problem that they didn't even know was there,
right.
right? Because if you're
Mm-hmm.
saying, hey, if you are diabetic, and we know that when you are diabetic, you heal so much slower. And if you
Right,
are healing 10 times slower than you normally would heal, and then you have an issue with your scalp, and your scalp starts to have an issue, that's not going to heal well, which then is
correct.
going to make it so that your hair doesn't heal well, right? And
Right.
like, it's just like, that, but then saying, okay, I'm going to help you figure out what's going on. When you go to your doctor, ask them for this test, and this test. Something that the doctor may not even talk about because
Right.
your doctor doesn't just check your hair. I can't remember a time that my
No, they
doctor
do
ever looked at
not.
my hair.
They not even a dermatologist. Like typically it'll just be like a scalp biopsy and stuff like that. But no, we're going like deeper into like reading your blood panels. We are doing scalp analysis. We needed to find out like, do you have a scalp condition or a hair loss or both together? Like like I'll have clients come in and it's like, oh, my doctor diagnosed me with alopecia. Well, alopecia is just hair loss. There's so many different categories of alopecia and what it's connected to. So each hair loss type has a story that goes behind it, and we need to figure that out.
Yeah, so and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. If we could differentiate the, just really quick, like the different kinds of alopecia that you've seen in your chair.
Yeah, definitely. So the most common one that almost every woman experience is telogen effluvium. That just means that it's like diffuse shedding. It's just like a clear trigger that's letting our body know that, hey, you're under a lot of stress, you have illness, surgery, when had a baby. Those typically happen. You start shedding, and it's usually all over. It's not just one specific spot, right? Whereas androgenetic alopecia, so there's not full information that's given out correctly about androgenetic alopecia. So yes, it's connected genetically. So you can have like a genetic disposition of it.
Mm.
However, androgenetic is actually connected to metabolic syndrome. So here you are just, oh, well, I have androgenetic alopecia. I'm never going to have my hair grow back. And that's not necessarily true. And what that looks like is that the thinning gradually starts in a pattern. So typically right on top of the vertex of the head, right behind your, like your bangs.
Yes.
So those are your like most common, but there's scarring alopecia, like, and this is the part that is really hard because a lot of African American women are being diagnosed with CCCA, and that is not based on race. Scarring alopecia starts from like frontal fibrosis, LPP, CCCA, all of those things there, but it doesn't matter about race. All it is that your hair is at a point where your follicle is going to be completely closed and we can't regrow it back. And that is considered CCCA.
Okay. And
There's
what does
so
CCCA stand for?
central cicatricial alopecia. It's like so it's long. Like this is why I say CCCA, honey, because look, central right? We gotta break it down because it is everybody knows it as CCCA
Okay.
because it is so long. And look, I'm gonna pull it up because I want to make sure I say it right.
No, because I'm like
Central fungal cicatricial alopecia.
CCCA. Okay.
Right, this is why we just call it CCCA because like it's a tongue twister. Most people know it as that way. Look, even me as a trichologist that I'm always doing, I'm like, that's a lot,
That
right?
is a lot.
Right.
But
So
but I love that you said, wait a minute, let me pull it up.
I have to be real, guys. Like
But
I
that
have to.
shows the kind of person that you are, right? Because I
Right.
think sometimes when you walk into clinician's office, you feel so intimidated because it feels like they know everything and you know nothing, right?
Right.
And it's so refreshing to have somebody go, 1 second, let me tell you the right way to say it. Because what if you move state? What if you can't
Right.
be with me anymore? I want you to know exactly what you need to do when you sit in that chair of that next person. Um, when you were talking about scarring alopecia,
Hmm.
what are some of the red flags that women can kind of pay attention to? Because I love that you said this isn't a race issue. We need to pay attention. Like this is a human issue. And
Right.
so let's like look at some of the red flags of how somebody may be able to tell if it's scarring alopecia versus a different one, like the
Yeah. So
androgenetic.
there's so many different red flags, but mainly if you like have redness, burning, tenderness, shiny, or like scar patches, those are usually red flags. And what people need to understand, as much as people love to cover their gray hair, they love to put all these product on their hair, when you're having these signs, these are some real underlying things that we need to work with, and we need to put a pause on cosmetic services like hair coloring and so forth, because all we're doing is contributing more to an issue that we need to diffuse first and then find that
Mm.
holistic healing for it. And we actually have a team like of holistic trichologists right now that we're doing study on biofilm remover because most time people who are diagnosed with CCCA, they're like, no, girl, you're done. You're never gonna grow back your hair and you lose hope. And that to a woman, that's a hard pill to swallow, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
we're doing a lot of studies on biofilm removal for scarring alopecia. And basically, you know the inside of your mouth, if you ever kind of put your finger in there and there's kind of like that white gooey thing. So imagine that being on top of your scalp. And if we can remove that, underneath that, they may be some viable follicles that we can get hair to grow back. So there's so many signs, but you definitely want to get connected with someone that can kind of break these down a little bit more for you to get connected with, okay, in my experience, this redness burning because I have like seborrheic dermatitis, or is it that I'm starting to experiencing scarring alopecia and I need to find out now before it gets progressed to be becoming worse.
No, and I love one, the thing that I love the most about being a holistic advocate is that you learn how to ask questions in multiple ways, right? Because
Right.
one of the things that that I always talk about, the reason why I really got into being an advocate was because I can talk to you in the most professional, hoity-toity, intellectual, but most people are like, just tell me what's wrong. Like, give me some simple ways to ask this question because
Right.
she said I had CCCP. No, that's not what she said. She said I had triple C double B. I don't know what she said. So like giving people ways to not only advocate for themselves, but you're giving people the power back to have some autonomy over their health and how they see themselves, which then takes us to like the emotional and the psychological impact of hair loss and coming to you and how your clients either lose self-esteem or they put so much self-worth into hair because that culturally that's the big thing, right? To have this wonderful
Yeah.
full big fluffy hair or this sleek long hair, and when you don't have that or you go through times where like you said after you have a baby, after you have a hysterectomy, times when your hormones perimenopause, menopause,
Right.
even when you are going from when you start your period as a young girl and how you go
Yes.
from having this super thick long hair to like your hair starts to be a little thinner and we don't think
Right.
about the hormones and how that affects them. So can you talk to us about the emotions that a lot of clients have when they first realize that something's wrong and how you work with your clients to build self-esteem and self-worth through their hair?
Yeah, definitely. This is like such a great question because people think of, hair loss as being like, oh, it's fine, but the emotion behind it, it is so strong. Like they fear, they have like such high shame of it because they're like, what's wrong with me that this is happening? So many women feel like they're losing themselves. They're even scared to lose their spouses. They actually end up losing in hope and love and self-esteem overall as a big picture. Like I have women that cry during consultations because they've been like dismissed by so many other professionals and the
Mm.
lack of support. Like they're like, well, there's something wrong with me, help me. And they're like, no, you're fine. You're just losing your hair. And those things right there, like, because now you're second guessing yourself, you're starting to create things like PTSD because those are trauma moments that people think of like PTSD as just military, but like hair loss is something that people like really emotionally have a really hard time with because it's part of their identity. So I have to
Mm-hmm.
like remind them like beauty doesn't end there, right? So it's just like the beginning of understanding. So like we have to understand your overall health. Remember like your beauty is coming because you was already made beautiful, so the journey is going to go through it, and also the mental health that goes through it. Like I love working with people like yourself, like holistic mental health advocates, like trauma infused therapists, because these people go deep diving. And even in our culture, that's like you can't talk to a therapist, like are you
Yes.
crazy or something? And that's not it. This is, we have so much trauma in our life that you don't recognize. Like there's an actual thing called psychosomatic hair loss,
Yes.
right? And people right in this area, almost like a headband,
Mm-hmm.
are experiencing this type of hair loss because they're dealing with high levels of emotion, trauma that not being taken care of, or just like going to a place to get a simple massage. You need to release these things so that you can have like optimal healing because it's super important. But the emotion behind it, like, girl, I'm getting goosies because moments like that, like, it's to be there for someone in those weakest moments. Like it is the most beautiful thing to see them get to the other side. It's just amazing. That's why I love what I do because I know there's hope there. We just have to do it the right way.
Yes, and look, you got goosies, I got tears. Um, but no, and this is why I fight so hard, and I say all the time, like through all the videos and stuff that I do, that I'm an advocate for finding your person, finding that safe space.
Right.
Coming to you who you're thinking, okay, holistically, I want what's happening with your body? What's going on with your life? What are you
Right.
thinking about? What's happening with your finances? Like, I'm not trying to be nosy, but I need to
Right.
figure out what that atom is that's causing you to, it's triggering everything else to go off. And
Yeah.
I want to be here with you. You know, when your doctor is a helpmate, when your coach is a helpmate, when your advocate is a helpmate, we're walking with you. Like, you aren't
Right.
ahead of me or behind me. I have a different perspective that I can talk to you about. And I
Yeah.
realize how special it is to have somebody come to you and talk to you. We were having this conversation where some clients only tell you what's happening. Nobody else knows what's
Oh
happening
my
in their
God.
life.
Yes, it's so crazy because one of the testing that my bioscan does is basically tells us what's happening in the subconscious mind. Fear, love, rejection, pride, all of this stuff. And I swear to you, some people look, oh, subconscious mind, no way. And when we read the results that are showing like an imbalance, like I just had this at the conference I was at. The gentleman started, like he looked at me because he was like, I I've been holding on to this and I don't know how to release it. And I literally had this is a guy too. Where you know what I'm saying? So if a guy's feeling like this, only imagine like a woman. But he broke down in tears because he expressed something that no one, not a soul knows about that he experienced. And those subconscious thoughts are
Mm.
hindering us. Those are traumas, opening up to being able to release these things. A grown man, girl, cried on my shoulder at this conference because he was like, it didn't I don't realize it now that you said it. I'm like, did you think back? Let's think back all the way to your childhood because childhood, we think that it's always past. We're sweeping that under the rug, but in our subconscious mind is still playing. Our actions, our choices that we're making are from things that we have experienced in our past. So it's important to be in tune as a whole. Like this is a whole journey that we're working with.
No, and like you said, your body holds trauma, right? It's a whole book, it's a whole
Right.
workbook, it's a whole class. Like, really, um, I always look at ACEs, um, adverse childhood experiences. And there
Right.
it's a you can take a quick test online because it's not just me, it's like a full test. And it's 10 questions that's asked. And then when you get to the end, it'll let you know the higher your number, the more likely you are to the more likely you are to have issues in your relationships and or issues with your health. Now, there are other ways that if you had issues up until 9 and from 9 until 16 you had the best life ever, it can really reverse a lot of that. But that's exactly what Johanna is talking about. Like, if
Right.
she can't help you if we don't know what happened, and not in a nosy way, but just like
Correct.
a way of helping you really shed a lot of the stigma that you are carrying within yourself, that shame and guilt that you're carrying within yourself, so that you can
Mhm.
then start to grow hair and
Right.
yourself. So, what do you wish loved ones would avoid saying to someone in the emotional, psychological space?
Oh man. Um, just wear a wig. It's just hair. Like that, like people want to wear their own hair, and just saying that becomes dismissive, right? So
Hmm?
I also do non-surgical hair replacement, like toppers and wigs, and those are options for those experiencing hair loss. But there are so many other options that we can explore before that's even a decision you might want to make of, you need to know the pros and cons to them all and what you're willing to do. So just telling that to someone just sounds so dismissive. And though it was well intended, it minimizes the emotional impact behind it. So like the best thing to do to tell, talk to with your loved ones that is experiencing this is I see you. I'm here for you and I'm here with you. So I'm going to go through this journey with you and not be so dismissive of something that is very dear in their heart and is part of their identity.
Listen, I tell people all the time, the same way you don't ask a woman if she's pregnant, it's the same way there's certain things you just
Right.
say, close your mouth. Okay, just shut your mouth because if you're not the pro at it, you shouldn't even be talking on it. This
Right.
question was something that I want to know how you're going to answer this because I'm not even sure what it means. What reframes help during shedding and regrowth phases? And I was like, I want to ask because that is not a question that I've ever had to ask.
Yeah. So I tell them hair doesn't fall out to leave them, right? It falls out to make room for healing. So again, it's like that lie detector. It's like, hey, something is going. I have to remove myself from here so that I can get you the attention for your healing process. So it's just a mindset though, because it turns to panic, right? Because you're like, oh my God, I'm losing this. But once you understand that it's not going to leave you, it's room for healing, then you become patient and then you go through the regrowth. And the regrowth is the evidence of responding. So it's not failing, it's just being in tune more now with your healing process. And healing is better than trying to be dismissive because we've been dismissive for
Yes,
so long. So now we got to go to that part is no, it's not leaving because I'm going to get her back and I'm going to get her back stronger than ever. I just got to be able to work from the inside out.
I love that. It's not leaving you, it's making room for healing. Girl, I'm
Right.
telling you, t-shirts, you're gonna have all these t-shirts on your wall. They're gonna be like, you sell t-shirts now? Yeah, yeah, I do. Okay.
Right.
Okay, because that is half of what really helps us out is that you have to do the work at home. Like you have
Yes.
to not only see the pro, you, then I got to trust that when you leave me, you're going
Right.
to do the work when you go home because practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes patient. That's how I feel
Right.
about everything. And
You got a t-shirt right there too, honey.
I'm just saying, we working it out. We try. We entrepreneurs. This is what we
Yes.
do. But no, what are some simple weekly scalp care routines that people can do, even if they aren't experiencing hair loss right now, to really help aid in and to
Mhm.
so that if they ever have to come to you, these are things that are in their routine and they're used to it to help their scalps.
Oh man, it's so funny because when I tell you this, you're gonna be like, no, it can't be that simple. And it's really that simple. It's just that we're not told well enough about this. So like cleansing the scalp, remember, so like shampooing your hair, people shampoo their hair and they're doing all of this to their hair, but not doing this to their scalp, right? So shampooing gently 2 to 3 times a week, and yes, that's Hispanics, that's African American. Like we're like, oh, we're just gonna wash our hair once a week or once every other week, not realizing that that's actually creating a foundation of, oh my God, fungal infections. There's so many things that comes with that. So we need to look into cleansing our scalp 2 to 3 times a week. A massage. Oh my God, massaging the scalp. So they sell like scalp brushes
Mm-hmm.
and that actually support microcirculation on the scalp. So there's like silicone brushes on it and
Yeah.
you just do a rotation to it because you're helping the circulation of your scalp. It's relieving tension from the scalp. And then one of the ones that I'm like, oh no, don't tell me this. They put conditioner on their scalp. Conditioner is only meant for mid shaft to ends. Conditioner is so thick, the molecules can't even sip through the follicles. So what it does is it blocks it, it covers it. So
Mm.
you have product buildup on top of anything else that you're experiencing. So like those things are key. And I think like the biggest mistakes with that people do with products is like overusing heavy oils and butter. That suffocates the follicle. So imagine like putting a pillow over your face. Like, I mean, at that point, that's what you're doing to your follicles, right?
Wow.
Like skipping your scalp cleansing, that also not only the cleansingness because it can create fungal infections on the scalp fungus, but it also creates inflammation. You'll see in scalp there's extreme inflammation because it's not being cleaned, you're not allowing proper blood flow. And then just like other things like relying on topical growth, like the amount of money people spend on these, and let me tell you, I'm not gonna lie, the marketing is severe when it comes to hair growth and serums.
Yes.
And the problem with that is that again, the molecule, depending on the oils or the growth serum, is whether or not it's small enough to penetrate. But you're still doing band-aid things because you're not taking care of the internal support. So those are things that I
Mm.
try to tell people, like if you had to save money for something and I'm giving you a protocol for internal health and topical, if anything is worth anything, completely being honest, you will do internal health. You're always gonna need the shampoo and conditioner, and I will recommend you the right one. But if you had to pick one or the other, for God's sake, please do internal health because that will give you a better overall feeling of yourself. You're
Mm.
going to be balanced. You're going to start experiencing hair growth. There's so many pros to internal health than just a topical solution because look, honey, we all been guilty of buying a bunch of topical things and wondering why it's not working.
Yep, yep, yep. Yep, yep,
Right.
yep. Look, I was like, did she talk to me? No, it wasn't me. Guilt? Okay, okay. I said, oh my God. Look, it's funny. I'm looking at my desk now. I'm going, okay. All right, no. She said no to you, and she said no to you.
Right.
But I think, especially when we're talking about ethnic hair and the a lot of the conversation surrounding, like you said, with oils and butters and heavy conditioning and moisturizers and all of those different things. But realizing that if your internal is dry, meaning you're dehydrated or you're on
Right.
medication, you have your period, your hormones are thrown off, that it's going to affect your hair. So no matter how much moisturizer you use on the outside, it's
Right.
still going to give, it's not going to, it's going to give you the illusion of,
Right.
but you're still going to have the issue. And it's interesting because when I get my hair braided, which I know it's bad, but when I get my hair braided, I've learned how to brush my scalp with a toothbrush to
Right.
clean my scalp so that way, since you have your braids in for so long, and even learn how to wash my hair with the braids in and how to have a routine with that, because I realized, like you said, you start to feel kind of slippery and it feels
Yeah.
nasty on your scalp, because what do you do when you have braids? You put a little bit of oil on your scalp because you think
Right.
that you're feeding the hair when you're
Right.
not. That is
Yeah.
that's insane. That's insane. The top three product mistakes that people product mistakes. You said the conditioner.
The conditioner, like heavy oils and butters, skipping the cleansiness, like heavy oils and stuff like that. Remember, those hydrations are better from mid shaft to ends, not necessarily on the scalp. So people are like, oh my God, I gotta throw away all my products. No, use them from mid shaft to ends. Use it that way. And I'm gonna tell you what to use properly for your scalp health. So those are like misconception of these. And even with the braids, so there's a lot of, braids and stuff like that or tight ponytails, those can cause like traction alopecia. However, there's certain things that if it's done correctly, like the parting lines can't be over directing hair so much. Same thing with tight ponytails. Like you put your hair in a ponytail, but that constant tightness, like you have to move it up, down, sideways, however you want to do it, because any continuing traction on the scalp will cause hair loss. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just being mindful of these things on the products we're using, our internal health, how we're handling our hair. Like those things are important for our health, hair health.
I love that. And I've learned. Trust me. I literally looked down and was like, oh wow, okay. So when I part my hair, because we're taught part your hair, you oil your hair. That's just it's
Yeah,
really like a generational, like it's a ritual that we do to take care of each other, but
yeah,
realizing that you have to still be aware that you could be using too much or paying attention to the
correct.
thickness of the oils and things like that. Tools and devices versus hype for hair.
Oh,
I
so
wanted to talk about this one. I was like, tell me about it. Tell me about it.
there's like so many different tools out there, and like, laser therapy, microneedling, and all of those things are actually powerful tools, but it has to be correctly done and under a professional guidance because nobody knows this, but if you're doing microneedling and you have a fungal infection on your scalp, guess what you're doing? You're spreading the fungal infection. So then here you are thinking like, oh my God, I'm doing something, and you're not under like a professional guidance or kind of evaluating your scalp. You're actually going to cause more damage than you
Mm,
are good. The same thing with laser lights. Like laser lights, they're like, wear it every day, 5, 10, 15 minutes. No, laser lights are actually only good for like those like with androgenetic alopecia. It's
Okay.
not for all type of hair loss, and you can only do it in certain segments. So that's why it's important that don't go by what you like just see on videos or people recommendations and stuff like that. Like you really have to go under professional guidance, and then for there they'll equip you with what you need so that you can continue at home, because I have both range. I have people that do at home treatment and they come to the salon, but most of them they're like, girl, show me. I break it down for them, and then it becomes their routine.
Yeah.
So that like quick fix, no lifestyle changes and stuff like that, like those things are, don't do it because it's not gonna happen. And just a simple scalp massaging every time that you're shampooing your hair, like those things are more effective than microneedling and laser sometimes. So really getting into like taking care and cleansing your scalp and massaging your scalp is actually more effective when it's not under the guidance of a professional.
See, things that it's so interesting because it's the simple things that work, right?
Right.
But we're sold these big ideas, and then you think, oh, if I pay $500 for this thing, it means it's going to help me more than the standard 10 fingers to the scalp.
That's it. And that's just like the beginning, cleansingness, and that's the beginning because we still got to hit the underlying issue, which is your internal deficiency, traumas, things like that, that we get results. But don't go crazy listening to everything you see because it is meant for certain things. And you need to know first, you need to even know what's happening, what's causing this, what type of alopecia you actually have, and then be able to go and attack it and be able to balance everything out. And sometimes just those two little simple things can make a world of a difference. And I'm sorry, but it saves you some money. I think like a scalp massage brush in Amazon is like $10. Like, get it.
And it's great. Your whole it's like cleaning your ear. That massage is
Oh my
like
God,
it's
girl.
ridiculous, and it's safer. It's safer than
Right.
cleaning your ear. Okay, so signs that you need to contact a pro. What's the first sign to say, okay, let me book a trichologist and see? I'm scared, but let me book and just see
Right.
consultation.
So typically anything that you start seeing shedding more than 3 months. And three
Okay.
months, things have been happening those 3 months before. So like,
Mm.
and that's where people were like, oh, I noticed I started shedding hair when I had this surgery. Because 3 months after, the body system is changing and we need to know what's happening. So if it's starting to be more than 3 months, you need to call a trichologist. If your scalp is feeling tender, if it's flaky, it's sore, you're getting scabs, those things are important to have. And like, if you don't, if there's two things, like you can go to your doctor and get blood work or actually get a bioscan, whichever way works best for you. And then realizing that this is not something that you want to keep brushing under the rug, like, oh, that's okay, I'll come back. Oh, I have a lot of hair. Some of my clients that are experiencing hair loss or extreme hair loss, they were born and had massive amount of hair. They
Mm-hmm.
waited too long because, oh, it's just a little bit. It's going to be okay. And realizing that next thing you know, now you're seeing your scalp. So I will say more than 3 months, you need to start getting someone to see you. And then just remember that it's going to be a healing journey and it's a partnership. Like I tell my clients, like, honey, this healing journey, we're married. We're going to be married 12 weeks. We're going to start this 12-week wedding. We're going to start this marriage. We're going to do good. We're going to do coaching. We're going to do therapy, all the above. But people are usually always scared. So, like, I'll guide them through a full trichology consultation. That's getting into the nitty gritty. We're getting
Mm-hmm.
through it. But we can start off with something just as easy as a complimentary 15-minute consultation. You get to meet me, see, because energy, we got a vibe,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And then know like, hey, what have you experiencing? These are the steps we need to do, and then go to a full trichology consultation because now you're having an expectation. Like we talked about these things are going to be our findings now, and we got to put everything together. We got to create like a full picture of everything so that we can help.
I love this, which then takes us into the mental health side and what it looks like for you to either refer out to a
Mm-hmm.
therapist or a counselor, um, teaching clients how to journal what's going on
Right.
with them. And so, what do you link? Let me see. The question is, how do you link stress patterns to hair changes without blame?
I always remind my client that your body isn't betraying you. It's communicating. So once you have that, like, okay, my body is talking to me. Now we need to look at the long-term stress impact or like hormones, nutrients absorption, you know, try to eliminate things so we can get answers so that you're not feeling this guilt. So I tell
Mm-hmm.
people awareness creates empowerment, not blame. You need to know what's happening so we can then go ahead and fix it and move forward. So, and you mentioned journaling, which, some people are like, maybe they don't write, but our phones have notes, right? Or even email it to yourself so that later you can come back to it. But you
Or a
do want to
quick
ask,
video. I know people don't
right?
think, but even just a quick little video that's just for you to remember what was going on so you can look back at it.
Yeah, definitely. And some people like they just never had that experience that they're speaking out on this or writing about this. So like I try to like guide them with questions like when was the last time you felt safe in your body? When was that, right? And
Mm,
how am I holding on to that? And what is my body is trying to release, right?
mm-hmm.
So your hair's coming out because it's trying to alert us, it's releasing something. So think back to what you're holding on to that your body is trying to release, right?
Yes.
And then you have to remind yourself, how can I honor my hair and my health today? Honor, you are deserving to this. It's an honor for you to take care of yourself and your health because not many could say that right now, right?
Let's look. Fabulously made. That's
Right.
you.
And then the one that is usually kind of like the hardest because most people don't like to go back, but going back is necessary to move forward. And what childhood memories do I still think about, whether it's good or bad? And remind them that it's part of the healing. You have to release that because it is
Mm-hmm.
still there. It's showing up in ways that we're not even recognizing it. So I need you to go back into those memories in your safe space. It doesn't even have to be in my clinic.
Yeah.
When you're home alone, when you're driving home from work, think about these and record yourself. Auto record yourself.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happened. It was good. When was the best childhood memory? What was the worst? Like these things starts opening doors on emotional release and self-compassion. You have to be compassionate with yourself. And that you will also gain patience from that through your journey of hair restoration.
Absolutely. Which also think about what your relationship with hair has been all of your life. Were you kind of the kid who was called nappy? Were you the kid who
Right.
had super tight hair? Were you the kid who didn't have your hair done and like you have to really look at your relationship with hair, not just your hair, right? Were you
Right.
obsessed with your mother's hair because it was a looser curl and it was longer, or were you obsessed with your
Exactly.
granny's hair that was kind of tight and cottony? Like thinking about what your subconscious tells you about your hair and how
Hmm.
it feeds into your self-worth and your self-esteem is so important because
Exactly.
the healthy graduation goal, which is, let me be honest, there's no goal. The healthy is the goal. Like that's
Right.
the goal. But do you say, all right, when do you say I have helped you with your mental health? I've talked to you as much as I can. When do you call in a coach or you say, hey, I feel like therapy is going to be the best place for you? Like, when do you get to that space?
There's certain things that require a little bit more in-depth training when it comes to that and health advocate. Like I do a lot of like metaphysical healing in the salon and so forth, but there's certain things that we actually build the relationship, right? So
Mm-hmm.
once you build that relationship, then you become a little scared too about, okay, how do I do that? And sometimes, when you ask your mom about something or you go ask your dad about something. Sometimes clients need to have that second opinion. So like partnering up together, like what you do with mental health and then us working together as a team because we're actually building like a community for them,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
so when you said graduation goal, I'm like, graduation doesn't mean that you never need help again. It just means that you learn
Absolutely.
to self-regulate. You can
Mhm.
start recognizing your triggers and use tools before crisis mode hits, right? So this is my strength, and I connect with people like you together because there's some things that are so deep underlined that they need a different set of skills with someone that is more than what we can provide in the salon. But we've been through it, girl. We've cried and everything. And it's just, to me, though, that partnership makes them also realize that they're not alone. And
Mhm.
we're like the family that they chose through
Yes.
this journey.
And but that by itself, because what the one of the things that I loved when I was first introduced to you when we did the entreprenista was
Mhm.
how sacred you hold your relationships with your client.
Yeah.
And for me, that to me is like some of the most spiritual things that we can do as people here on earth is have sacred spaces where people get to come and drop all the masks, drop all of the jewelry, drop everything, and just can say, hey, I'm hurting.
Hmm.
I don't know why I'm hurting, but in the midst of this, I'm going through a divorce right now. I'm losing my hair. I don't know what to do. I just want to look good so that, if I can find a new man, and you creating that space where you can say, "Hey, we're not going to find a new man right now." Okay?
Right.
You're going through a divorce, which means that there is multi layers of trauma that you are going through right now,
Correct.
and we need to figure out how to get you in a space where I can help you from the
Yeah.
inside out, but you need somebody else to help with your spirit and your mind. Like
Right.
we need to work together. So what are some self-guided practices that you can give to a client to support the stability when they're not with you?
Yeah, it's so funny because some of these things will sound super easy. Like it's things that we probably don't even utilize as much as we can. But breath work, just taking a moment and just listen to yourself breathe. Inhale deep in, hold it, and release it. Just breath work alone, because then you're basically telling your body, connect with me. I need to
Mm-hmm.
inhale and then release, right?
Mm-hmm.
Grounded exercises, journaling is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Movement, just moving your body. Like for me, for movement, like I love music, especially like old school music.
Mm-hmm.
So have that. If you don't like to go to the gym and you don't like to do all these stupid like little video things, I call it like little stupid videos because you're like, what am I doing? This is don't even feel natural.
Yeah.
Do what feels natural to you. So if you love music, you love to dance, that's a movement. You
Yes.
love cleaning, sweep, mop, that's still a movement, right? And prayer, because prayer, when people think of prayer as like, oh, pray to God or whatever, I'm not, whether you're religious or you believe in a higher power, you have to speak that out to existence. The
Yes.
universe is
Yes.
going to answer, right? And then, like, the biggest one, because this one is the one that I'm not even gonna lie, I'm busy and it's hard for me, but giving yourself 10 minutes of mindful silence, right? That
It's
will actually
beautiful.
regulate your nervous system. So when you're in your car driving home, if your car ride is 30 minutes, the first 10 minutes, silence. Don't be on the phone, don't listen to any music. Just give yourself that moment to decompress, right? And then,
Mm-hmm.
like, my favorite one is aromatherapy. Connecting with yourself, finding out what you truly love, and asking yourself, like, I don't think enough women ask these questions. Like, what do I truly love to do? Like, what are my hobbies?
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
way to reconnect to yourself. And if you don't have an answer to that, then maybe we got some homework.
Absolutely. I remember my therapist said to me, and he hurt my feelings real deep. And he said, who are you without all of your titles? And I said, first off, I'm paying you for this session. That's number
Right.
one. Number two, I am a daughter. I am a. He said, yes. Without all of the titles, without all of the accolades, do you like who you are? Set me
Right.
flat on my tail. I mean, talking about a spin out. Did she crash out? I
Listen, I got that same question and I was like, hold up, honey.
yeah, like, but we need to. But the interesting thing is that Now I can answer that question. 10
Right.
years ago, I couldn't answer that question. I was like,
Yeah.
and even 5 years ago, I was still like, well, I kind of like, do you like it or you don't? Like, yes or no. And it
Right.
felt like so invasive. It was a simple question. Like you said, asking yourself, what do I like? And if you are a person who likes to dance, create a mental health playlist, create a
Right.
stress playlist, like the things that help you find somebody may listen to opera to calm down, somebody may listen to rock to calm down, you may hate hip
Right.
hop, you may do R&B, but like realizing how therapeutic music is for us and how
Yeah.
it plays such a huge part in how we see the world. Even just the lyrics that we listen to and paying attention to what you are absorbing. Like I'm big
Right.
on creating an algorithm for yourself, your
Yes.
playlist, your internet. Like you said, driving in your car. What are you listening to when you first get into the car?
Yeah.
You listening to news radio? You stressed out all the way home?
All over again.
Yeah.
Sometimes just a simple instrumental, because
Mm,
the instrumental creates frequency in the body that can be reconnected. That's why there's like things like sound therapy.
I love sound
That
therapy. Oh my
oh,
god.
girl,
A
you
sound
make it
bath.
both.
Sound baths will make you
Yes.
cry. You be why you crying?
I don't know. I just feel free.
Yes, I love it. So now I want us to break down because I know how important culture, identity, and self-esteem is with us.
Yeah.
And because you treat such a diverse group of women, what do what do you find they feel, or is women, do you feel that their hair is policed more than anything else?
Yeah, because it's, you have to look a certain way when you show up to work, and you have to like, well, what happened to your hair? What did you do different? Like little comments like that. And I have to remind my clients when they come in is like, remember your hair is your culture and who you are, your spirituality, right? Who you are as a person. So it's not a distraction. And don't like, you don't owe them comfortability for them to accept you. Just be authentic to who you are, and that's your power. So if your hair is curly and big, embrace it, because let me tell you one thing, honey, they wish they had it like yours. So just remember that, right? So like there's so much of that policing of that, and people forgot to just be human, just
Yes.
to be accepted, and I do have to remind my client that I have to remind them, like even with my clients with like toppers and wigs, like, no, honey, you pay for this. This
Yep.
is human hair.
It's
This
yours.
is your hair. It's on your crown. It is who you are, and you accept it and own it. And if they ask you, say, yeah, I changed my color. Yeah, I did this. It doesn't matter whether it's your own hair or if you're wearing toppers, wigs, or anything. Last time I checked, it's yours.
It look, I tell people all the time, stop looking for me based off the color of my hair. This
Right.
wig gonna change, this hair gonna change. And for me, because, and I always say, I use the word privilege because I'm one of those people where I wear wigs because I love it as an accessory. I understand that it is very different depending on the person. So I'm never gonna walk up to a woman and be like, oh, is that a wig? First off,
No.
why am I in her underwear? Because that's how it feels. It's if you are so under their clothes,
Yep.
just say it looks nice and keep moving. It really costs nothing to shut up. It really costs nothing to shut it down.
Right.
Vetting a salon or a clinician with cultural competency. What does that look like for you?
So it's great. You have to ask like diverse texture. You have to ask them this question, like, are you used to working with diverse texture? Scalp condition and hair loss. Like there's so many people don't even realize that you can have both of them at the same time, right? So doing that, and like internal health concerns, right? So we have to, like, it doesn't matter what race you are or whatever it is, like these are underlying things that you have to do, and like you have to look for someone that you can connect with, that will empathize with you,
Mm,
educate you, respect you in your consultation. Like it doesn't have to be this trendy base knowledge thing. It's just natural conversation like you and I, and then finding out like, does this make sense for me and can I connect with this? Because even if the connection within ourselves don't work, it's going to be hard for you to be in protocol. But you also need to know my skills and what I'm capable of. So don't undermine that, okay?
Absolutely, girl. I was like, listen, that so many people are afraid to ask questions because they're afraid they're going to disrespect the person, or
Right.
that they don't feel like they have space. But I'm like, if you're spending your money, you have every right to ask questions. And if you don't feel comfortable, take your money elsewhere. Keep
Right.
looking. Don't just get stuck in a space where you're like, oh, well, my girlfriend goes to this person. If your girlfriend's hair, one, you are two different people, two different traumas,
Right.
two different celebrations. Like, remember, it's okay to do that. Rituals for building self esteem during recovery. What do you've alluded to it throughout this whole, it's been so beautiful talking to you about this, but you've alluded to really giving people practices that they can use so that as they are recovering and finding patience for themselves, that they can just rebuild their self-esteem while they're going through this. But what are some of the rituals you kind of try to help clients work through?
I think one of the strongest, most powerful one is mirror affirmation.
I love mirror affirmations. It's
Yes,
so hard when you
it's
look
so
yourself in the
hard.
eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know what? Instead of reminding yourself of the flaws, you
Mm-hmm.
have to give yourself, like, you have to be your own cheerleader. So looking at in the mirror, it's hard in the beginning. Don't get me wrong, it's
Yeah,
super
because
hard.
yeah.
But a mirror affirmation, when you're doing a scalp massage though, do it with intention.
Yes.
Do it with, I am healing you. You are going to regrow.
Them
You are the most up
affirmations. Them
power. Right. You're going
affirmations.
to
Yes.
continue that information from the mirror to cleansing your scalp to your
Mm-hmm.
day-to-day life, right? And then for me, it's funny because I go through this with, and this is how I track progress in the salon, is documenting the process. That's photo, that's journaling,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes in the visual eyes, especially when the hair is growing back, I mean, like the hair will be this little. You can't see that in the naked eye. So doing like a scalp analysis or taking a close zoom picture of your scalp, those things give you motivation. When I do a bioscan, I literally scan you every 30 days because I want you to see your effort. And let me tell you, women lie, men lie, numbers never lie. That gives you that boost, that motivation. Pictures, you can see yourself. You saw yourself 10 years ago to where you at now. So
Mm-hmm.
that's powerful. And then like the biggest thing you got to do is celebrate every phase of this journey. Like it's evidence of growth, not loss. So you got to be transparent with yourself. Take away that worry about being perfect because there's nothing perfect, right?
Yes.
And then just continue to celebrate every moment because every moment we get to wake up and be here to do it again.
Look, I am a big celebrate every win kind of girl.
Right.
But I had to learn how to do that because the world teaches you, like, it teaches you that you're being either you're not being humble enough, or you're being
Right.
conceited, um because you are tracking yourself. But I'm like, who else is going to track you if you aren't tracking yourself? Who else is going to high five you if you aren't high fiving yourself? You can't always look for external validation. You have to learn
Right.
how to speak to yourself with kindness.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell people, if prayer isn't your thing, do affirmations. If affirmations isn't your thing, do mantras. If mantras isn't your thing, do chanting. If chanting isn't your thing, do singing. If singing isn't your thing, hum. Like, you have to figure out
Figure it out. Right.
what works well for you. And if someone is listening to us right now and they're feeling hopeless about their hair, what would be your first thing you would say to them?
Um, you're not your diagnosis, right? This is not the end of your beauty story. Healing is happening every single time when we can tell ourselves that we can't see it, but I can feel it, right?
Mm.
Being patient with the process and not to give up. And the most important thing is to remind yourself you was fabulously made from the higher above of whatever that is for you. You was made fabulous.
Look at, she said I'm a motivational speaker, people. Move out the way. That's what I'm talking about. So this is our lightning round. Okay. Most
Right.
underrated hair habit.
Girl, drinking enough water or like using healthy electrolytes, managing your stress, scalp massage, cleansing your scalp 2 to 3 times. And just remember that hydration, scalp environment, and peace grow more hair than people realize. Just those simple things.
Love it. One myth that you want gone right now.
The hair loss only happens to unhealthy people or people who are experiencing cancer only. It happens to strong, beautiful, thriving women too. And it's just the body dialogue to let us know, hey, we are going someplace and I need you to pay attention to me. But it doesn't mean that you're an unhealthy person or you just have cancer.
I That is so freaking important. And if hair could talk, what would your hair say about you right now?
Basically, thank you for listening and just being open to this journey of hair restoration and healing. You'll also see like on my pages and stuff, I don't post a lot of pictures of my clients because I do protect their safety. And sometimes little things like what ring I wear can scare someone. So I just tell people be patient, be happy, and I'm here and I'm with you through this journey.
See, I love it. See, and this is what I'm talking about. Like information with heart, because that's what
Yes.
I feel like holistic means. It means we're providing information with heart. We're looking at you, your mind, your body, your soul, your finances, your spiritual self, and we're
Yeah.
trying to bring all of those different aspects of you to the table, because every part of you dictates how every part of you works. And I know we think that it's not that. If you just receive the best job offer of your life, it's going to be stressful still. Like it just
Right.
doesn't matter. So, one, thank you so much for your knowledge. Two, tell
Thank you.
everybody where they can find you, because I do you do also do virtual consultations?
Yes, I do.
Okay, tell them where they can find you, girl. Come on.
Yeah. So be fabulously made.com. You can find me on all social media platforms. It's Fabulously Made Salon and Hair Loss Solutions. And just reach out. I believe I share my link to the LinkedIn at Fabulously Made. You'll be able to find me in every angle you can, or even past videos that I've done before. Just feel free to reach out. I would love to even just have a conversation.
I love this. Thank you so much for being on my podcast.
Yes, thank you
I
for
really
having
feel like
me.
you, one, your smile is so contagious. Like it's just so beautiful. But your
Yours
spirit
too.
and how much you care about your clients, and even if you're not a client, just giving people something to think about and helping
Right.
people understand that there's so many myths out here,
Yes.
and just taking a moment to like ask an honest question and get an honest answer back means so much to so many people. So we
Yes.
thank you so much, and we
Thank
can't wait to
you.
talk to you again.
Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you for creating this platform to help other women.
You are so welcome. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Wasn't that such a connective, amazing podcast? I just realized that I have my packages inside of the podcast because I was so excited to talk to Joanna. And I was like, her spirit is so big and bright, and what she's bringing to the market is so unique because when we think about beauty, we think about vanity. A lot of people are like, you're being conceited, you're focusing too much on how you look. It's not just hair. It's emotion. It's not just hair. It's spiritual. It's not just hair. It's the reason why you have so many people who, in their religion, they have to cover their hair, right? Because it's a spiritual thing for them. The same way people show their hair, spiritual connection. Like we have to stop shutting people down. We have to stop shutting people up. We have to connect with people and listen to them and figure out what's going on because our body holds trauma. Your hair is a part of your body. It holds trauma. And I am so happy with this podcast. Man, she dropped so many gems. It was so good. Anyway, guys, if you feel like this has connected with you or you know somebody who has been suffering with hair loss or just they are starting to notice that their hair is shedding, consider looking for a professional. If not, you can just click Johanna's information, which will be linked to this video, and talk to her because she does do virtual consultations. She is absolutely knowledgeable. She just came back from a conference where she learned so much more. She was so super excited. And don't you want to go to a professional who's excited about their career? Like, don't you want to talk to somebody who's excited about what they're doing and how they can help you and how they can help you grow? I'm just saying, right? What are we doing, y'all? We are learning how to articulate our feelings, wants, needs, and desires so we can advocate for ourselves and the people that we love. And you are somebody that I love. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Lovely out.
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you found some healing, connection, and joy. Until next time, bye, loves.